magical thing with wetlands, I think, is the atmosphere that they create is unlike any other habitat. And I think especially first thing in the morning or late thing at night, you get a calm goes across them. So you've got the amazing sounds of all the vegetation. Even now you can hear the reeds and the rushes sort of rubbing against each other. I think wetlands are full of life all throughout the year, and I think sometimes people can look at wet mud or even just an open body of water and not appreciate that it is an amazing food source for the entire ecosystem. So it's a thriving, happy, healthy ecosystem. To be out here when things are waking up and you've got your dragonflies sort of going overhead, you've got starlings that have started using some of the reeds out here, not in big numbers, but you still get that, you still get the sounds of them sort of going overhead or calling, which is fantastic. We've got so many different birds of prey that use the reserve, whether it's marsh harriers or peregrines, it's kestrels, sparrowhawks. It's fantastic, and I think what that diversity shows and all those different species using the reserve is that it's a healthy wetland that's providing a brilliant habitat for all sorts of wildlife. The reason WWT took on Steart Marshes is a demonstration wetland, so it's different to our other sites. We use the site to demonstrate to people the value of wetlands. I mean, it's a very quiet site just because of the size of it, I think. The atmosphere you get being near an estuary is really unique, and I can understand why people fall in love with places like that. They have a certain peace to them, but at the same time they're really dynamic. When I first saw the black-winged stilts, I did think they were actually beautiful birds. They move through the water very gracefully. Their legs do look too long for their body, which I guess is where they get their names from. Beautiful sort of black and white plumage that even with the naked eye stands out. They use their long legs to allow them to get into the water, to feed. They can wade in, and very unusual to find them in this part of the country. My name's Alys and I am the site manager, and I've been here since 2013. I think that you can liken them to an avocet. We get up to 35 to 40 breeding pairs of avocet every year, which was not the case sort of 4 years ago. We didn't even have one pair. And they're quite aggressive, quite comical parents, so they won't take to anything sort of flying above. Very, very vocal. And that's exactly what the black-winged stilts will do. So any sort of passing predators, herons or anything, they do seem to have this additional sort of skill of being able to stretch their legs right out and actually going for the eyes. Last year, we did lose a lot of avocet chicks just to a heron that decided to take his fancy, and they're quite easy prey. But we have seen here that the black-winged stilts seem to be just that little bit more aggressive and successful at sort of scaring the predators off. I mean, what did surprise me when you consider the length of their legs and how they have to hold them in the air is just how agile and acrobatic they can be. So, just as we've seen them fending off other birds, is they can turn on a penny sort of through the rushes and over the tops of the reeds and keep up with any of the other waders out there. Oh, there's a marsh harrier now. Oh my God! I think you got the hint. I think that's proof of just how good the parents are and how protective they can be, and that their technique certainly works. You didn't hang around for long. to be breeding in the UK is sort of astounding, because normally, you'd see them in the Med. People are very used to seeing them there. So the fact that they've come this far up and decided to settle here and done so successfully is fantastic. You'd never expect 100% of the chicks to make it through, just because there's so many things to deal with. But what was quite entertaining is that we didn't discover the third chick until a week after they actually hatched. So we were just counting on the 2, and when your numbers of chicks are going up rather than down, that's always a bonus. So yeah, for all 3 is just, it's mind-blowing. I believe the Stilts would have chosen to breed here. First and foremost, you've got the right habitat. So we manage it, so we've got lovely muddy margins, which we know from surveys are full of really good invertebrates for probing beaks. So, I mean, this is how the reserve is looking at summertime. We've got all these different sort of wetland with marshy plants and this central sort of lake. And come the winter, this entire area will be covered in water, and it will become a huge lake valuable to all different sort of water birds. And we actively manage that. It's a huge milestone for the reserve, actually. I mean, not only is it just a really rare species to have here, but the fact that they've been so successful, and to see that they've all 100% has got to fledging is just, massively rewarding. And I think as a site manager and for the team, it shows that the work that's being done here is being done well, because the habitat's right for them.